Welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good morning, WKRA 92.7 The Change. This is your host, DJ Kitty, here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar. Happy Monday, April the 7th. It is Monday. Where did the weekend go? It was a good weekend, but it felt extremely short. But happy Monday. We have made it to another day. We've made it to see the sunrise and hopefully some birds chirping. It is April. April showers bring May flowers. Another beautiful day that God has allowed us to rise up and be great. I come to you this morning humbly and imploring you to all make the best of your day. I hope you have something good to drink, maybe some tea, coffee, something sweet, something good. Eat breakfast and come on in. We've got another amazing show, and this is going to be another amazing week. Good morning, Miss Morningstar. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. I am well. Good morning. Hope everybody is ready to get the week started and finished. I already know we always start with the anticipation of the finish line. So
Absolutely.
let's get it started right.
Yes, started right. And how we start our every show is with a positive affirmation from our affirmation queen, and that is Mrs. Morningstar.
All right.
And she always brings something wonderful to the table to get us our minds ready for the day. So what do you have for us this morning, Miss Morningstar?
Yes. So this morning, guys, we are going to do a Monday morning affirmation. Just wanted to change it up, give us something to boost our energy and our confidence for this week. So it starts with I am grateful for a new day. I am grateful for a new week. I'm feeling healthy and strong today. I am a healthy and happy person. I choose to focus on the good parts of the day. This is the best day of my life. I am grateful of my life, so happy. Life is so happy and successful. I am excited to wake up today and experience this beautiful life that I'm creating with my thoughts and visions. I am the creator of my best reality. I am filled with gratitude, kindness for others, for another wonderful day on this earth.
I know that's right.
Speak it into existence, people.
Yes, that's what they say. If you wake up with a positive attitude and you tell yourself those positive affirmations, you're sure to have a positive day. And even if something goes off a little bit, don't let it change your momentum. It's not always going to be peachy cream, but you can always turn it around. We don't focus on the negative because what good does it do you? You
No,
know,
it don't do no good, y'all.
hate is expensive. And I need that on a shirt. Hate is expensive.
I like that.
It
Hate
is,
is expensive.
it absolutely is. So try and start your day with positive thoughts, positive affirmations, and positivity everywhere you go. So
Hmm.
it is Monday. Let's go ahead and jump into the weather. It has cooled off significantly, and I'm not too pleased about it, but Mother Nature knows what she's doing. I know I'm not going to question her because I don't want a hurricane or tornado to come and change my perspective. So I'm not, you don't mess with Mother Nature. So
I
I
know
choose.
that's right.
Okay, so today in Holly Springs, it's going to be 60 degrees with a low of 39, chilly. It's going to be cloudy in the morning, and it's going to warm up and be sunny this afternoon with winds coming out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. In Memphis, Tennessee, it's 59 degrees, a low of 41, partly cloudy. Winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, southeast, again, a little chilly, cloudy, and a little windy. In Houston, not letting me down, 70 degrees. I love the 70s, baby. And with a low of 48, which, okay, that I can do that in the evening times at night. I'm okay with that. It's going to be pretty sunny all day long. Winds coming from the northeast, 15 to 25 miles per hour. So it's going to be a bit windy. We do have some spring storms. It snowed in the Panhandle over the weekend, which is eye-opening. Yes. 5 inches of snow. They broke a 130-year record.
But you said the Panhandle?
Panhandle in Texas. Yeah.
I never heard of that.
It's up between well, it's Austin.
Dallas?
It's the Panhandle going straight across the top of Texas.
Okay, so it's the most northern part.
Yes, the most northern part of Texas.
Okay.
And it does snow up there.
Yeah, I know they get it in Austin and Dallas.
And in El Paso also. Yes, so it came through and they got 5 inches, which is
wow, that's quite a bit. Yeah.
For April, it definitely is. So they got hit with snow. We got hit with rain over the weekend.
And it was chilly. It dropped down.
Yes, it was chilly this weekend, and it's going to be a little chilly today also. But we won't complain. We take every chilly day and see it as a sign, as a blessing, because when August gets in,
we're trying to cool that ocean down.
Begging for some cool weather.
Cool that ocean down. That's what started those storms.
Exactly. So in Georgia, the pollen reached record highs. And when I say record highs, they had trees falling and the pollen it was like a cloud of yellow smoke. I think that if I were standing right there, I would probably instantly die.
In the arms of an angel. I can't even understand how the people, I know they suffering. They have to be smothering, and
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy. I'm praying for y'all, Georgia. That's crazy.
Too. If we had only if this nation had only planted female and male trees, then the male trees would have pollinated the female trees and we wouldn't have pollen everywhere. But in America, we only plant in subdivisions and along the highways. It's only male trees, and they
really.
Yes.
See, that's a fun fact. A lot of us didn't know that. Like Miss Morningstar, I didn't know that. Thank you, Kitty.
And female trees are the only trees that produce fruit. So of course, we're in America, they wouldn't have the roads lined with female trees because people would actually get free food. Imagine that.
Imagine the food that grows naturally from the trees. People are upset about it because we get to eat like they did in the Garden of Eve. We were able to live off the land. And wow, how would that be?
Does it make you wonder about, well, why didn't they just plant female and male trees?
Right. Why?
Yeah, because
we live in a capitalist society.
Yeah, there you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay. Everything is the money.
Everything's about the money. Speaking of which, we may as well just go ahead and hop into these current events.
Okay.
So apparently the House, there's some Republicans that want to pass a bill the challenge is Trump's tariffs. Mike Johnson, of course, still, kissing up to his daddy, refuses to back down, and he wants, for the Republicans to, support this man who's going to bankrupt this country, like he's bankrupted all of his everything else he's ever done. Why he's in office, I don't know. Well, we know. So there's 7 Republican senators that signed up to co-sponsor a bill that will require the White House to obtain congressional approval in order to pass tariffs. So we're going to see how far that goes. They're supposed to be voting on that today. Again, we shall see. I put not an ounce of faith in this administration. The Republicans, maybe they're coming around now that they had so many people, go to the hands-off rallies, and there were rallies everywhere. Literally every state had rallies. And I am proud of them people. That's what they should have done. They voted him in because 92 and 82% of us African American Black people chose the lady that wanted to help the country.
Right.
And the others chose the one that got us in this predicament where everything that our entire way of life has been disrupted because he wants to take the country down. And that's my opinion. These are the opinions of DJ Kitty and Mrs. Morningstar and Our Plugs, the Community Connection. WKRA 92.7, they may have a different opinion, but these are our opinions. He's trying to destroy the country.
Well, it's so, in my opinion, it's very obvious what we're intentionally seeing, because think about it, listeners, he didn't have to enforce these tariffs like this. He could have did it responsibly. He could have targeted, if he wanted to do something to shake up some of these companies and try to force people to come back into business back into the United States. He could have did it in a way where it was a particular company. It wasn't just, I want to tariff the entire country. Gradually. Nothing that would have hurt his own country.
Doesn't care.
But he he feels we gonna be okay. We gotta go through the pain. That's what he said. And this is not something that we just gotta go through. We shouldn't have to go through anything, first and foremost. But hey.
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't have to go through any of it. It doesn't make sense that we are at this point in our lives where we have everything, our entire way of life has been uprooted. For him to say on Friday, I believe it was, that he wanted to stop all government funding. Think about it. That is for colleges, small businesses, anything that had to do with the federal government providing funding, he wants to halt. Now, you done already put tariffs on everybody in the world. Now you want to gut government funding. You laid off thousands of people, well, not even thousands, millions at this point of people. You don't want to feed our children. What is the only reasonable scenario that comes into my head is that you are trying to actively destroy this country with Putin, you're doing his bidding. Russia had already said that they will destroy America without firing a single shot, and they will destroy it from within. And you American citizens that chose to vote for the man with the dead hand decided that you wanted to put him in office. So yes, you should get out there and protest. Because I think Kamala came out last week and said, she tried to tell y'all. We tried to tell y'all.
She sure did.
How many TikTok lives and Instagram posts? How much did we do? Just you and I, Miss Morningstar, just you and I. Not our entire team. but it was every single day. All of us
Mm-hmm.
were all everywhere we went. We were begging people, passing out um, voter registration cards, getting people engaged. And
Yeah.
you guys decided to put this debauchery into office.
And then some of you all just decided not to vote at all. And
Yeah.
now you sitting here like, well, I ain't even vote for this. I didn't vote for nothing. Well, this is what you get when you don't vote at all.
You
When you
get
don't
what you
participate
get.
in the system.
You get what you get, and you don't have a fit.
I know that's right, 92%er.
92%, baby. You get what you get, and
Oh,
you don't have a fit.
yep.
So it's a lot when you sit back and think about it. They had millions show up.
That's good though.
And that
I watched a little bit
I'm
of it.
proud of
It
you.
was a lot. It was a lot of allies out there holding it down with their signs. They did some wonderful speeches. It was some great activism going on, and y'all got to just keep doing it. Y'all got to keep applying the pressure.
Keep going.
Apply the pressure. Keep applying that pressure. Can't just do it one day. You got to apply that pressure.
As our good brother D says, Darian, uh, nothing will change until white folks are affected.
That's
You know?
right.
And let's just be honest, white folks thought that everything that he promised that he was going to do was just going to hit black and brown people. Now that they see that it hit them, if I lose $250,000 from the stock market, I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
One man was
too.
on TV crying. He said, I mean, on, yeah, TV or TikTok, one of them crying, saying that I stood with you, Trump. I
7 million
backed you.
he lost.
I got my family to vote for you. I lost $7 million. Baby, the way I've been at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue knocking on the door saying, come outside. Come outside. I just want to talk. Come outside. $7 million.
Well, Shanika, I want to answer. I want to make a quick comment. Now we got to move on to the next story. But Shanika,
Yeah,
if they mad that more black people weren't out there, then they just gonna have to stay mad. I don't know what else to tell them.
they're going to be real mad
They
because
gonna have to stay mad because we not coming out.
no,
We not
we
doing what our ancestors did. We not marching, but we are organizing, and
absolutely.
we are fighting back in a different way. So hey, they gonna have to, you know,
We
buckle
did
up,
march.
buttercup.
We did march. We marched on November 5th to the voting booth, and we voted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should have marched with us then. If you had marched with us then, you wouldn't be marching today while your rights are being stripped away,
That's
while
right.
your bank accounts are being emptied out.
It ain't our battle. That's right, powerful
It's
black
not,
woman. It is not our battle.
it's
The
not our battle.
battle is yours,
Yes. Good luck
not
with that.
ours.
Good luck with that. And the Dow continues to drop.
Oh yeah.
7,000 points on Friday. Opening bell is in a few minutes. No, opening bell is, I haven't looked. I don't know what it is right now because we're on the air, but opening bell, and I don't know what it is right now, but good luck to them people.
Hey,
Hey,
I say, you guys, word of advice: if you got money in there, you can get it out. Get it out. Pull
get it
it out.
out.
Pull what you can. Save what you got left.
Yeah,
Some is better than none.
yeah, yeah. It's a gamble.
Pay the penalty at the end of the year.
Whenever you actually put money in the stock, it's a gamble. Whenever you put money in your 401k, it's a gamble.
Yeah.
Yes, your companies make it sound great. Oh, put money in your 401k, we'll match it. But they never tell you the downside of that is based on the stock market. And when the
Right.
stocks are down, you're going to lose your money.
A lot of us don't. And I'm one. I don't understand the stock market. I never really. I want to learn what it's about, but not right now.
Well,
But I
fun
never
fact,
learned the stock market.
when I was in high school, I wanted to work at the stock exchange.
Okay.
I did. So I've been listening to it and watching it since I was a
Maybe
little
you can
girl.
teach me then, sis, because I don't know nothing about it.
I don't mind. I don't mind, but it's very tricky, but it's just like gambling. That's
Yeah.
all
And I'm not a gambler.
me either. But I didn't lose
Okay.
because as soon as I saw that he took office, I pulled everything
It's a
because no more.
smart one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my next story is Trump and Elonia, his girlfriend. They're fighting over tariffs because Elon doesn't want
Exactly.
tariffs to be imposed on the EU. Why not? They're fighting. They're upset with each other. I love to see it. I hope it's a big fight, a big blowout. I hope they never get together again. I hope that, Elon gets to keep his kid and Trump he won't let Trump see the little boy no more. I hope they
Well,
never
you know,
make up.
they pillow talking, so those pillow talks sometimes turn into cat fights. Hopefully they don't let it get out to the media, but hopefully they do so we can have something to talk about.
And laugh about because it's funny to me. I
Because
love
it's
it.
funny to me. I love that for them.
I love it. And my last story is a good story. This one is, I
Okay.
love it. So, Keith Lee, for those of you who know Keith Lee and follow him on social media, Keith Lee is he's a TikTok commentator. He's a TikTok guy. And he does reviews all over on foods, right? And what he did was he gifted the Puttery that's in Pearland, Texas, is right down the street from my house. He gifted them $50,000, which is
Wow.
amazing. Yes,
Hey,
yes,
how
yes.
nice.
That was really sweet of him. And the lady said, "You have changed my life." And you know what she can do with $50,000 is so much. So I
Whew.
love good stories like that.
Know what
Yes.
I could do with fifty thousand
Me
dollars
too,
right about
sis. Me
now.
too. Me too.
Okay. Wow,
Okay.
that's amazing.
Absolutely. So that's my last current event. What do you have today, this good Monday morning?
Okay, well, we got a little time still. Okay, so
Oh,
what do
well,
we need to?
let's
Let's
go to
do a break
commercial
real
break.
quick.
Yeah, let's do
Okay,
the
let's take a
commercial break
break.
real quick, and after the commercial break, we'll go ahead and get into what
Yeah.
you have. You are listening to I'm sorry, you are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7 The Change. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC is your one-stop shop for a wide variety of customized items. So bling out your Crocs, customize that cutting board, get you custom dominoes. Stop by and we will customize your order today. We can be found on Etsy and Our Plugs LLC. I'll be waiting to customize your order. All you need to do is place it.
Hey guys, yes, this is my nonprofit, Carter's Caring Hands. And what my nonprofit does, we give fresh food boxes to those families in need that's struggling to keep food on their tables. We also go out into the unhoused community, give out care bags here in the Kalamazoo, Michigan area. So if you'd like to donate to the cause, please go to www.carterscaringhands.com and donate whatever you can, so we together can uplift those families that's struggling to keep food on their tables. Highly appreciated. God bless.
Timeless elegance, redefine class. Welcome to Morningstar Boutique by Tam, where fashion at its finest, fashion that brings out your inner cuteness, and styles that make you go, "Oh, girl, where you get that from?" Check me out at www.morningstarboutique.com or at ourplugs.com. Can't wait to see you.
Welcome to Nutrition You Design. Finally, your place to really get to the bottom line of your health with our functional nutritionist Gail Thorpe on board. You have a caring practitioner to get to the root cause of your health concerns when all else fails. At Nutrition You Design, We specialize in women's health, anywhere from hormones, fibroids, menopause. We have you covered. With over 200 specialty lab tests, we are like your personal health detective. We offer customized meal plans, genetic testing, stress management, and a host of other offers to really get you healthy. Be sure to book your consultation at nutritionudesign.com or give us a call at 877-898-5130. You can also find us at ourplugs.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
And we are back. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7, The Change. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar. My name is DJ Kitty. And today we have a wonderful show with some awesome young ladies. But before we get to that, I think Miss Morningstar wanted to jump into a couple stories for herself. Go ahead, Miss Morningstar.
Yeah, guys, just wanted to share a couple good things. Well, at least one good thing. So a judge has awarded $6.6 million to whistleblowers who had reported previously attorney Ken Paxton to FBI. So everybody know who Ken Paxton is. He is the attorney general for he is the attorney general here in Texas, and he's criminal. He's a criminal. He's part of the Decepticon crew. He did get away with his criminal activity because it was dropped because he had some help from his party. But that didn't stop the whistleblowers that were unlawfully fired. According to the Texas Whistleblower Act here in Texas, the firing was retaliation against them. So they came out on top. They $6.6 million richer. And it was
Good
let's clap for them.
I wish I had a whistle.
It's about 4 of them. So let's see how they're going to split that. It's going to be pretty nice.
I mean, I wish I had a whistle too. I would have blow it.
Blew the whistle.
Blow the whistle. Okay.
I need to play blow the whistle.
Okay.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Definitely blown it.
Because I would have snitched.
I sure would have.
So I am happy for them.
Me too.
Although they did it with intentions of doing the right thing, and still no consequences was awarded to this person. But his day is coming. His day is definitely coming. So, but good for them that they were able to get some money, you know, especially what we coming up on right now, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if a lot of y'all heard about this story because it's been swept under the rug. Of course, this is like what Republicans like to do when it's their own constituents and people that are committing these heinous crimes. So former North Dakota state senator, he was a state senator for 45 years, was just sentenced to 10 years in prison for traveling to Peru in the Czech Republic, where he paid to have sexual encounters with children, particularly boys.
They're so nasty. These people are some sick, nasty. You're a nasty, dirty dog.
Yeah. And according to the documents, Raymond Holmberg, that's his name. He's 81 years old, guys. Looks every bit of it. Of Grand Forks, traveled to Peru approximately 14 times between the year 2011 and 2021. So he's roughly in his 70s around that time he was doing that. And during these trips, he stayed at a brothel and that catered to men looking for engagement, commercial intercourse, sex with adolescent boys. Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
Yeah. He went by the name of, he thought he was getting away with it because he had an alias name, Sean Evans. That was his alias. But yeah, needless to say, he has been now, 10 years is not enough. He's only getting 10 years in prison. He'll be 90 something when he's eligible to get out, but I don't feel like he at this point should ever get out. People like that should rot in the prison system until they are dead. That's it.
Right. I mean, I think it should be two options: jail and then hell.
Hell, well,
Here.
that's definitely the next. That's the next level down. Only
Yeah,
got 10 years. Yeah, that's it.
you
10
know,
years.
just disgusting. Just
And you
disgusting.
don't hear nothing about it. It ain't said nothing about it on the news.
Well, you
And as
know,
I don't watch the news, but I do read on articles and try to, I'll catch every now and then some stuff. I ain't heard nobody say nothing.
well,
This is heavy. He spent 45 years writing laws.
we do realize that we do have a criminal in office, right? And we do realize this, that the news stations have been compromised because all of the owners of the new all of the news stations allegedly, this is not alleged, they all gave to the Trump campaign. So he's calling the shots on what can and cannot be put out to the public for public knowledge. But anybody with half a brain cell knows that the Republican Party, they don't have a problem with P3DOs,
No,
pedophiles.
they don't. They
They
do
don't have a
not.
problem with that. They
It's
don't have a problem.
accepted, but they want to, but they claim they want to protect the kids.
They, a pair of lips will tell you anything. If you wanted to protect the kids, you would make sure the kids could eat at school.
That part.
Yeah, a pair of lips. I mean, you're just talking out the side of your neck. Wasn't that a song, talking out the side of your neck? That's all you were. That's all they're doing. We know what it is, and it's savage behavior. And I'm just gonna say what it is and tell the truth, spite the devil.
I'm
These
disgusted
people,
by it.
we are all disgusted by it, but this is their way of life. As our good sister, powerful Black woman, reminds us all the time, it's in their DNA. This is what they do. Now, I'm not going to say all white tea people are
No,
like
that's
that.
not all.
And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that there aren't Black people that do this. But it's disgusting when anybody tries to shield people from knowing the truth.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's just mighty funny that every time we cut on the television, we read an article of these disgusting acts, unhumane acts, because this is unhumane acts that these people are doing to torch children. It's always them. I'm gonna just say it. I mean, I know we got some inhumane, nasty Black folks too, like you said, but it's always them.
let's just say that the majority of those that are in power and doing this to children are clergymen, law enforcement, and educators.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't
Hey,
mad at me.
y'all
We
go
just
look at the
report
numbers.
news.
I mean, then hey,
We just report the news. We don't make it.
that's
But I pray that those young men who have been affected by this get the counseling that they need, because this is disgusting.
Hey, Queen.
And I don't even have anything else to say about it. Let's just go ahead and move on. We've got Tara Ellerbe and Gail Thorpe blessing us today.
Ready to bring them up?
Yes, absolutely. Our second series of Eldercare. Hey, Tara. Hey, Gail.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Ma'am. Gail, we can't hear you yet.
You on mute, Gail?
Yes. Happy Monday.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes,
ma'am.
Loud and clear.
Good.
How you ladies doing?
Good.
Doing very good this morning. And as you know, guys, I have my tea here ready for me. So I'm so happy to bring Tara back into the fold, onto the second part of us, taking care of seniors, and especially when you're dealing with assisted living and also in home care. I don't want to spend too much time on too many things on my end, because I do know that people had questions for her from before. So I'm going to allow that to be so. But I did want to cover two things that are pretty prevalent that happens a lot of times in these facilities, and also even if they come to your home, if they're not properly trained for the patients that they're seeing, and that is dealing with bed sores and also with dehydration. And I know Tara can attest to that she sees that type of thing happening. So let me just go over here and get my little notes here ready for it. Okay. So I think for me, that's a big thing for me because my dad had it, and he got it from being in a facility. He was there just simply because he had to get some additional antibiotics. So he was only there for just a short time. But I was there every single day, practically all day, and even sometimes stayed over. But even with that, they really missed the mark and allowed for him to actually end up having the bed sores, so which is also called pressure ulcers. And so a lot of people have them, and I think that we need to make sure and be mindful. I am thankful that I did see it when I did see it, but I was very mad at that facility for allowing that to happen. So, basically, if they're not moving a senior enough, and they're in the position that they're in for too long, so that can either be lying or sitting down, it doesn't matter. It actually compresses the blood vessels. And a lot of times when you have like your tailbone, which is the sacrum area, it could be in your heels, it could be your hips and your elbows and the back of your head. So of course, if the blood flow is reduced, the tissues, they can't get enough oxygen and nutrients, and they begin to die. So you want to be careful, and you want to watch out for that when you're having, even if someone is coming to your home, taking care of your parent, or if they're in an assisted living facility as well, because you want to make sure and say, hey, did you move them today? And are you repositioning them, because these type of things can happen. Tara, do you see or is that something that your staff trains a lot on making sure that especially for the assisted living, to home care, is that something that you guys talk a lot about?
Yeah, definitely. We see that, and typically the transferring of a patient, or it's called ambulation, kind of walking them around, things like that, is clearly
Mhm.
written in the care plan before a patient even starts, before a person even starts with whether it's a home care or an assisted living facility. So yeah, we see it all the time, and we make sure that when we monitor that's done through a
Okay.
process of like supervision. But here's the thing, because I know one of the things that you guys wanted me to talk about or key in on is policy. When you look at policy, and I want to talk about all of that today, so hopefully we can get to it. When you look
Yes.
at the policies with what they're doing with Medicaid and Medicare and
Mm-hmm.
cutting that funding back, one of the things that's going to be cut back is oversight of these facilities and these home care companies, because that's going to be taken out of the budget. So when you cut back, not only is that going to hurt the actual care itself, but it's going to hurt the oversight of people that are given that care. And so where people normally come in and make sure those things are happening, particularly in assisted living facilities, that won't happen as much as it normally should. It's already not happening like it should. But when the budget is cut for Medicaid and Medicare, one of the big things that's going to go away is oversight. And we got to keep, when that happens, then that's when the family's going to have to step in and take that over, as it relates to making sure that their loved one is being cared for properly.
Now that's absolutely crazy that they would take that part oversight away, because I know, for instance, here there was a care facility here that they were not taking care of the patients. The owner, he became really good at knowing how to cover things up, and so when they would get those inspections, everything looked like it was fine. But unfortunately, several people died at that
Yeah.
facility.
I have a
And
question. I have a question really
oh,
quick. Not to break you up, because I know that people are listening. So when you say non-movement, so how often should a person be turned when they're bedridden? How often?
But
Yes.
I think that,
Okay.
oh, well, go ahead, Bunny. I was going to
No.
say it depends on what has been assigned by the nurse.
Right.
The nurse typically comes in and does an assessment, so it varies per person, you know. But I would at least want no less than at least once or twice a day for you know, for sure. But some people it may be more.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
say something real quick? I worked in the in the spinal cord department at the VA hospital for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
used to wait. I wasn't a clinician. However, I worked in I did some education on like with pressure ulcers and how because spinal cord patients are known to deal with those. And it has to be it like she said, it depending on the severity of their, like if they're spinal cord patients, they're always, so they have to be rotated at least every few hours, or they're taught to tilt themselves up in their chairs
Mm-hmm.
and to relieve that pressure, because those things can be so bad, like where they're impacted and they can go deep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
where it's so deep that it has to be packed, and
Mm.
and and it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Spinal cord. Yeah. Spinal cord injury is very, very extreme.
Yes.
You know, that's somebody who's had a real serious injury, and they would typically, you know, have a totally different care plan.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, it just depends on the severity of each patient, but a bare minimum once to twice a day. But these people
Yeah.
sometimes go, like Bunny said, these people sometimes probably go days without being turned.
Yeah, and it is true. The good rule of thumb is definitely reposition every 2 hours. That's the good one if they're in bed. Now, if they're in a wheelchair, you want to shift the body every 15 to 30 minutes. So, but a lot of times, unfortunately, in these locations, they do not do that. You know, thank God my father did have me, but there were people that I saw there. Like if I went there in the morning time and they would put them out. They'll put them out, like I guess, in the recreation room, and they would not bring them back into the bedroom until like 7 o'clock at night, and they had them staying in the same position the whole entire time.
That's
And
horrible.
because, yeah, and I saw that myself, and I felt so bad because not everybody is going to stay there as long as I did. Some people, and I'm not knocking the fact that some people can't, right? I was fortunate enough that I was able to have the flexibility to do so, but I literally would see them in, like, literally in the same outfit. If they were wearing any type of depends or anything like that, they kept them in that,
Oh my
and they
goodness.
didn't move them.
That's horrible. That is
Yeah, I
horrible.
know. It was very, very bad. And it was very hurtful to see that. Of course, I couldn't do anything because it wasn't my parent, but I was looking and I was just like, that is really insane. So that's why I was wondering with Tara. I know she see, of course, those type of things, but we have to, like she was just mentioning, we definitely, as possible caregivers to our parents or whoever that's elderly, we must make sure that we're watching out for those type of things, because
Absolutely.
don't leave it up to just the care facility. You
Yeah.
have to also be the main one, right? And
You're
because even like Miss Morningstar was saying, it's horrible. Those wounds can get very deep, and if they're dependent upon where they're located, sometimes it can cause us often infections. So if you're keeping them in the same position, and if it's something like that, any type of thing can increase the risk if it's wet. There, with urine and any kind of liquids can make it even worse, right? So you just want to make sure and be careful when it comes down to the bed sores, because that is something that unfortunately sometimes when your senior does get older, that may actually happen. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to a little bit more into, we talked about it before when Tara was here. I kind of glanced over a little bit, but dehydration, because again, that's another big thing. And I think that people really don't take it as serious. And because I've seen clients with this problem as well, as well as my father, I really want to hone in on it because I have other people, friends of mine, that will come and ask me, what's going on with my parent. And a lot of times, I will make sure and tell them, check for any type of, for them being dehydrated, because it definitely can cause a lot of problems. It can cause confusion. They become very disoriented. They can even become unresponsive, you know. They sometimes become almost delirious, like their sudden behavior changes, right? They will experience dizziness and fainting. They can't stay upright. They will have a rapid heartbeat within breathing. They will have show signs of low blood pressure, so like weakness, lightheadedness, cold hands and feet. They may have dry, sticky mouth, and even may not even have tears to cry if they need to cry. So dehydration is very serious, and it can actually even cause seizures and trouble walking, or even standing for that matter. So those are things that you want to definitely look for when it starts to become extremely serious when it comes to dehydration. Now, Tara, with your facility, what's like the as far as the plan for when it comes down to nutrition? Because that's my thing. So, what's the plan to
Right.
help prevent those type of things from happening?
Well, we do basic home care. I own a home care facility. I don't own an assisted living facility. Well, I'm just part owner of just opening up one now. And with the
Right.
assisted living facility, they have a nutritionist that comes in and plans all the meals.
Okay.
It's two totally different business models, and I kind of wanted to talk about that today. Um,
Yes.
kind of give people the difference, because people really don't understand the difference between assisted living and home care and Medicaid and Medicare. It's really complex, and that's something I think people really need to understand. But when it comes to nutrition
Yes.
and meal planning, typically in the assisted living facilities, they have a nutritionist there. They have someone who plans the meals, prepares the meals, serves the
Mhm.
meals, and everybody has their own meal or food restrictions or requirements based on whatever diagnosis they have. So it varies, again, depending upon the patient. But I will say that there is a nutritionist, and there should be like a nutritionist on staff. Some places even have a full cafeteria, depending
Mhm.
upon how large the facility is. But for the assisted living facilities that we have here in Charlotte,
Mhm.
we have a nutritionist comes in, and she comes in and plans the meals. We give a weekly menu that the families can look at and talk about. We make sure that we meet all of the food requirements and things like that.
Well, that's good, because that's something that also, again, as a full-time caregiver, the first thing that I did was I wanted to make sure and talk with the director of nutrition at the facility that my father was at. And I think I had a very bad experience, because unfortunately I was very, very upset when I found out that they were giving my dad, because he spent another time into the care facility. He had to go back, and they were giving him fish sticks, French fries. They were giving him what's the other thing? The steakums, steakums, a steakum dinner. I
So,
was like, are you kidding me?
hey Gail, let's take a break. Let's take a break really quick. I gotta get a couple commercials in, but we will be right back after this quick commercial break. You're listening to Our Plugs, the community connection on WKRA 92.7 The Change. We will be right back. Opame Simplistic Beauty is hair care and skincare in a bottle. Take a quick survey and let us design your own formula. Go to ourplugs.com, look for Opame Simplistic Beauty, and we can get your formula out to you as soon as possible. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC is your one-stop shop for a wide variety of customized items. So bling out your Crocs. Customize that cutting board. get you custom dominoes. Stop by and we will customize your order today. We can be found on Etsy and Our Plugs LLC. I'll be waiting to customize your order. All you need to do is place it.
And I'd like for you to do one more thing for me. Hold up 2 fingers. This is you, and this is me, and the space that exists between us should be filled with value.
Equal, a global human initiative, and its value identity model.
And we are back. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection, here with Tara Ellerbe as well as Gail Thorpe. Today we are talking about Eldercare. This is our part 2 series, and we are learning today a lot about the new policies. Miss Gail is telling us about how to handle bed sores as well as dehydration. I will go on mute and let the conversation continue. Thank you, Miss Gail. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, so when I found out they was giving those type of dinners to my dad, so again, you have to be very, very proactive when you have a senior citizen, or like I said, whoever may be in those facilities. But we're definitely talking about senior care because they are important, and we want to make sure that we know what's going on. So I just want to kind of briefly talk about, again, the nutritional part of what they should be feeding the seniors, and not something like fish sticks and French fries and steak on sandwiches. I mean, that's great for maybe kids or so, but not for a senior citizen. They need to have a certain type of diet so that they can prevent from having bed sores, or if they happen to get bed sores or become very lethargic, they need certain things to get them going. So you want to make sure that they are giving them protein. This is definitely essential for tissue repair and for the immune system. Good sources of protein is definitely like lean meat, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, and tofu and nuts. Okay. You want to make sure that they have vitamin C. Now, this is important because it helps with collagen formation and immune support. Okay, so you want to make sure that the sources of that could be citrus fruits, strawberries, bell peppers, tomatoes, and broccoli. And zinc, you want to make sure that they have zinc because that helps to support wound healing and immune response. Foods like meat, shellfish, legumes, seeds, and whole grains. You don't want to have too much of a high dose of zinc for too long of a period of time, because then it can become very toxic. Okay, vitamin A, that helps to support skin health and immune function. So carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, liver, and eggs. Definitely iron, that's much needed for the oxygen transport and wound healing. So you want to make sure you have good sources of red meat, fortified cereals, legumes, and spinach. You can combine with vitamin C to actually enhance the absorption of iron. And then when it comes down to fluids, again, we're talking about these bed sores. You're talking about the senior health when they're in facilities, and we're talking about keeping them hydrated so they do not become dehydrated. So you want to keep them hydrated. Keep that CN Subbowl, which helps support circulation. Aim to 6 to 8 cups of water daily. The lowest I would say is 5, but if you can get them to do 8, that would be great. So Tara, when it comes down to, I know that you mentioned about there's a difference between the home care and then assisted living facility. There's a difference. Can you, let's go ahead and dig right into that at this point. Tell us more about the differences and what people should look for in both, because like I said, I dealt with both. And having home care, got to be careful on the home care too, because if the home care agency, like in your case, if they're not hiring qualified people, and if you're not around, they can come to your home and still not treat that senior correctly. So tell us a little more about that. I know you would know that being in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I want to do, Gail, is kind of, because I took some notes and I kind of heard the sentiment of a lot of you guys' audience, where they kind of want to know about policy and what's going on and what's happening, and kind of wanting to stay abreast of all of the political things that are happening, because that's the climate that we're in.
Absolutely.
So I kind of want to just kind of not to negate what you asked me, because I'm going to hit on that as well. But I kind of want to just kind of go through some things I wrote down based off of the feedback that I got from the last call and what the audience really wants to hear as it relates to policy and this new administration that we're all dealing with. And one thing I want to just tell everybody that's listening, and I really want you guys to take this seriously, look at Project 2025, period. That's what that's it. That's everything. Everything that they're going to do, that they have done, that they're planning on doing, that they want to do is in that document. We don't have to, kind of keep talking about, oh, they did this, they did. It's already written. And they've been working on it for years. Like 30, 40 years, the Heritage Foundation has been working on this. And if you guys remember, and I'm going to get into healthcare, obviously, but I kind of just want to lay the foundation. If you guys remember, the last 4 years, the Trump administration has been down in Mar-a-Lago running a quasi-government. All of this stuff was being planned for the last 4 years while we were not paying attention. And they were having meetings, they were planning, they were picking their cabinet members, they were picking who was going to head different departments, they were picking their judges. All that's been going on. So they didn't start sounding the alarm of Project 2025 until maybe when Kamala started running. You kind of started hearing it more and more and more. That was too late. It was already done, which is why Trump could get in office and have his cabinet picked in a week. He already knew who it was. They've been working on it. So, if you want to know any policy, you guys, just go to Google, download the PDF. It's 900 pages, which is crazy. But read as much as you can, and you can go through sections and find out exactly what they want to do. And so when we talk about Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, which are three things that affect long-term care, right? It's all in Project 2025. It's going to be gutted. It's going to be cut. Now, we could debate about why they're doing it and what, whatever, and, all of that. But at the end of the day, it's going to happen. So I think that our goal in having, this call, particularly around, senior living and senior care, our goal is to try to prepare as fast as we can in a short period of time. Because had we known this 4 years ago, we'd have way more of a head start. But now we're kind of working up against the timeline, because as you can see, I told you guys on the call that I was on the prior week, I told you guys that they had cut the Medicaid system completely off. Every state was freaking out because they could not get payments. They went in and just literally just hit the switch and cut it off.
So did they cut it on?
Yeah, in like 24 hours after everybody went crazy. But just to know that they could just go in and hit a switch and we don't get payments is scary. It is extremely scary. So we know that that's the plan. They already showed us that that's the plan by going in there and cutting it off in the first place, right? So we know that Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security are on the chopping block. So with that being said, what I want to do today is talk about what can we do about it and what preparation do we need to have. So first, Medicaid is completely different from Medicare. Medicaid is a system for low-income individuals, right, that are making a certain amount of money or less, and the state is now paying for your health care. Medicare, on the other hand, is a system that we've paid into. When you see your taxes coming out of your check, it goes to Medicare, parts of it. So Medicare is something that most of us have paid into. We are owed that back. So that is a healthcare system that takes care of you after you've retired, after you've gotten into your age where you're collecting your benefits. This is something that we have paid into for 30, 40, 50 years before we retire. So that is the difference. So when you hear us talk about Medicaid and Medicare, there's one that is provided to you by your state because you're low income, and then Medicare is something that is your benefit that you paid into.
Kind of like Social Security?
Just like Social Security. It's the same. Okay. It's the same thing. So when they talk about cutting, particularly Medicare and Social Security, they're cutting something that you put money into.
It's not their money.
It's not their money. It is your money. And we have all paid into that. So that is something that I am very, very irritated about, because this was supposed to be a safety net for us. This was a law that was put into place, I want to say, by Franklin Roosevelt, like during the Depression or maybe around that time.
Yeah, it was during the Depression.
Yeah, to give us a safety net. So for them to even be looking at that pot of money, to me, is egregious. And it's something that we really need to fight for. Now, Medicaid is for us to take care of our poor. And for these, for these folks to run around and say they're so Christian and they're this and that, the last thing they always want to do is take care of the poor, which is what Christianity is supposed to be about, is taking care of your poor people and your sick people. But that's not what they want to do. So we have to be prepared and understand that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to do it. They're going to try to implement it. It may go through the courts, but we need to prepare as Black folks for the worst, because we already know that we're always at the bottom of every metrics when it comes to health and taking care. Now, fortunately, we are a community, and we tend to take care of our seniors, and we tend to, want to make sure our seniors are at home as much as possible. But for the ones who can't, like in the case of Gail's situation, where her father had to go into a facility, we have to be prepared that may happen. And we, and I think we have to, the same way that back in the day when we used to say, Black folks, we need to have a will. We need to have a will. We need to always stop, we need to have insurance, burial insurance. And we don't have to have a fish fry dinner every time somebody passes away, right? It's the same thing we need to think about when it comes to long-term care. And unfortunately, in these times, now we have to think about that now even being gutted and cut from a financial perspective. So we have to really, really prepare, because it is a big deal. People are getting sicker. People are not as healthy. And people are, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I'm seeing people pass away at 55, 59, 60 years old. They're not even making it to 75 and 80. They're not even able to benefit from their Social Security, So I just want the audience to understand about preparation. So one of the things that I really want you guys to think about is getting a long-term health care policy. It's an insurance policy for long-term care. Start paying into that now, even if you're in your 50s. Start doing that now, because by the time you get into your 70s, or maybe if you stay healthy, which Gail does this segment every week. She talks about health and taking care of yourself. If you stay healthy, then you may not have to go into a facility until you're in your 80s, or you may not need someone to come into your home until you're in your 80s. So if you start in your 50s, you can have a pretty good amount of money that can assist you in getting that type of care.
So where would you get a long-term care policy from?
I would recommend, every state has something different. I would recommend just kind of Googling it and seeing what, just put in long-term care facility. Long-term care insurance policies, and different ones have it. Humana has it. Just different insurance companies offer long-term care. Okay. And you want to definitely start investing in that. Yes. That's one of the things that I really want the audience to think about. The other thing I want to talk about is housing. And let me tell you why I want to bring this up. What we're seeing, and I think I talked about it the last segment that I was on. What we're seeing is that a lot of people are doing what I have, which is which I'm part owner of now, which is it's called more of like a personal care home, or a senior living facility that people are turning homes. They're making rooms for people to come and stay in. Different states call it different things, so that's why I don't want to call it a specific name, because every state calls it something different. But what just happened, you guys, as it relates to policy last week, if you remember, the Black guy that's the head of HUD just signed a bill on Friday called Saving Our Suburbs. Look it up. It's called Saving Our Suburbs. And what that bill says is, it says that they don't want any more Section 8 housing, multiple housing, like rental housing, lots of apartments in the suburbs. What? Yes, that's what that bill is about. It's called the Saving Our Suburbs bill. And it's a Black guy. The Black guy that's the head of HUD. That's what he always puts the Black folks in those kind of positions.
So they don't want apartments near.
They're trying to say, they're trying to say it's called the Save. And that, I want to say, is in Project 2025.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at
protecting
our suburbs. Who are you protecting it from?
Yeah, it's called the Saving Our Suburbs Act. So we
I
got to
did
dig
see
into that.
I did
Let
see
me tell you,
something. Wait, I'm sorry, Ty. I just want to say real quickly. I did see something that he has signed. I didn't know that's what it was. You got to be kidding me.
yeah.
That's
So
that's crazy.
where that's going to affect us and what we're looking into now, a lot of us that own these senior living facilities and these homes, is that they're not going to want those homes in the suburbs. They're not going to want those multiple use homes.
Where do
The
they
group
want people to
homes.
go? Where do they want people
I
to go?
don't know, but we're going to probably have to really jump through
Inner
hoops
city.
now
Inner city.
to turn. They want all that stuff in the inner city, yeah. But what I don't, where I find this to be interesting is that the inner cities are no longer. I mean, the inner cities is where people want to move now. They've gentrified most cities.
They
In this
have
country.
gentrified the inner cities.
Gentrification
Yeah,
is
That's right.
real.
gentrification is real. But then that's gonna bring on more problems statewide because people, since they gentrifying these areas, you're gonna have, the Beckys, I'm gonna just say it like that, complaining about these group homes or these,
Yep.
facilities where you have
And
multiple
yep.
people living in. It's gonna just
It's going to be a
they
mess.
stirring the pot.
It's a mess. So when we talk about senior living facilities, and when I talked about the last segment that I was on, when I talked about how we're now having these homes, which people like those because people are getting a little bit better care, more personalized care.
Yes.
In the homes like what I own. And if they're now going to have policy or a lot of restrictions or a lot of red tape around putting those homes in neighborhoods, suburban neighborhoods, that's going to cause us a big problem. It's going to cause us, because they don't have those kind of homes in cities, in major cities, those, big sprawling homes where you could have 4 bedrooms with 4 bathrooms. And that's just not how the cities are not like that. Most of those homes are in the suburbs. So I don't know if they're going to have a map. I don't know if they're going to have a map drawn out or where you can do it at. I just don't know. But he just signed that on Friday, so we haven't dug into it yet. But I'm going to dig into it and get back with you guys so we can break it down of how that's not only going to affect
we need to do another
facilities.
segment on that.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, how it's going to affect
because I believe
they're going to involve.
I believe they're going to involve the HOAs, and these HOAs are already out of control right now. I feel.
Please don't let me get started on my
Some of the rules is just ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, they just it's really becoming unbearable in some cases.
Yep.
Unlivable. So, like, we live in these areas, and I ain't gonna get into it.
but you're absolutely right. But this is something that we have to look into, because the purpose for creating the personal care homes or assisted living facilities that are owned, by regular people and not these big, huge nursing homes that have been, neglecting most of their patients. The purpose of that, or the appeal to that, was that you could turn a regular home in the suburbs into one of these facilities. And like you said, group homes and things like that, where you're trying to take people out of an environment and put them into another environment, will be affected. So we have to really, really look at what they're trying to do, you guys. They're attacking minorities, seniors, all of that kind of stuff. And I behoove you, and I really urge everybody to read the document. I know it's not, even if you have to have a group of us to get together and everybody just take a section. 9 people take 100 pages. Whatever we have to do, because 100 pages is insane.
Tara, you were gonna. One thing, we have talked about Project 2025 for over 2 years now, but but thank you for bringing that up. But what were you about to say about Section 8? Because I know that is a sticky subject as well. Any changes to Section 8?
Well, that's in my opinion, based off of what I've read in Project 2025, the reason why he signed that act was to target Section 8. It just so happens that it's going to target senior living facilities also.
So they don't want Section 8 homes in suburbs?
In the suburb, nope.
Really?
No. That's the biggest complaint. People are complaining and the Save Our Suburbs Act is
That
clearly
definitely, remember during the Obama era, a lot of people were moving, and this is when I lived in Ohio, so I can attest to it was a lot of people moving from quote unquote the hood out of the inner city, because now they have so many Section 8 housing in the suburbs, and most people want their kids to get a better chance at living conditions and better school systems. So a lot of people were moving up into the suburbs from the hood. They didn't like that. So now it's like now they're trying to gentrify the inner cities, and they knocking down historical buildings, and they doing all this, new construction, and trying to take it back in a sense, from what it was. It's crazy, and now so now I
And
guess
I,
they want to reverse that.
So
yeah,
he's
and
saying,
that's sad, because I'm thinking too, like when we're talking about the senior places, like it's so nice when a senior can live where they have, like when you have Tara, a nice home where it has a background, a backyard, I'm sorry. And
right.
you know what I mean? Like, because as they're getting older, they want to be able to, it's nice for them to be in a place that's, this, they can relax, and they feel
calm.
safe and
Yeah.
calm, right?
And
But with them
quiet.
trying to take it out, I personally, if it was my parents and they were still alive, I wouldn't want them living like in a city per se. I would want them to live
Neither.
somewhere that they
In the
can relax
suburbs,
themselves, in the
exactly.
suburbs. So that's
So
really
it's going
not
to be.
fair.
Inner
Well, one
city
of the
is too
things.
busy.
Well, one of the things that we have to be very mindful of is that when they make these policies like this, they never think long term or how it affects other things.
They don't
So
care.
the policy was clearly made for Section 8. I mean, that's what it was for, but it's going to affect so many other things, like multi-use housing, and it might even affect Airbnbs for all we know. People have written out homes for Airbnbs in the summer. It might even affect that. But what I do know is that it was initially targeted for Section 8, and then it'll just unfortunately trickle down to your assisted living facilities that are in suburban neighborhoods. And we have to understand how that'll affect like Gail just said. Nobody wants their elderly parent living in the inner city. Nobody wants that. Nobody.
No.
I wouldn't want my parents living in the inner city. If they want to have a yard, like Gail said, to walk around and be able to sit outside and maybe have event grill days and family days and stuff like that. That stuff happens. When you have like the facility that we own has it's on 2 acres.
Yeah.
And people love that. So we're concerned. We're really concerned about that. But this is the kind of thing that I want you guys to really pay attention to in Project 2025. Like you said, you've been talking about it for 2 years, but it's happening. I mean, it's happening.
Yeah. They put it in place. That was the whole purpose of electing the man with the dead hand. But instead of them being the ones that voted for him, instead of them realizing that it would affect their families as well, they thought that it would only affect Black and brown people, and now they're crying. So that was the whole premises of that march that they did. They did wonderful on Saturday. They need to do it again, to keep doing it. Maybe it'll do something. I don't know. But next time, march to the voting booth and vote for the qualified Black woman. How about that?
Well, I'll tell you this, and I want to just hit this home. They, like you said, they think they're hurting Black and brown people by stopping Section 8, but they never thought about the people that own those Section 8 houses.
There you go.
Right? Because they don't think that far. They don't think that far ahead. That's what happens when you're living in a bubble, right? So not only is that they don't think, because you got mostly white people that own those properties.
You stopping their money.
Now what? You stopping their money.
Tara.
So they never think about that, huh?
Tara.
Hate
is expensive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hate is expensive.
Yes, it is.
It's costly.
It's very costly.
Yes, it is.
And these people hated us so much, but now, pay the piper. You get what you get, and you don't have a fit. Don't cry now.
That's the whole thing with the Medicare situation. We started seeing now, thanks to the internet, that it was more of them on Medicaid and getting food stamps than it was us.
Yes.
And they were crying on the internet. So they were hiding and letting us take all the hits about getting Medicaid and food stamps and stuff like that. But when they started taking away, they came out on the internet crying about it because they never thought it would affect them. So we aren't the biggest beneficiaries of all of these. We are not the largest group that benefit from these social programs, nor were we the largest group that benefited from DEI.
None of us. I believe it was Reagan that introduced calling African American women welfare queens. I believe it was Reagan, and they all just fell for it, thinking that we are the ones, but it never dawned on them that their mother was the one that was down there getting that government cheese and that government assistance. We just,
right.
They just want to demonize the Black woman, and they want to demonize how Black people are, but they don't realize that our people, we're so resilient that we survived slavery. Now, I would like to know another group of people on this planet that survived slavery, and in 2025, everything that we do is monitored because they want the blueprint. They want to know so badly, how did we manage and how are we here now? Because we educated ourselves. The one thing that you thought we couldn't do, we educated ourselves, and now we've out-educated all of them.
I just want to say in closing that that's what it's going to take, and that's how I was going to end my portion. Is I want to say that we have to pull together, you guys.
Yeah,
it's going to be our resilience and our unity, and just caring about our people that's going to get us through the next 4 years. It's going to be a long 4 years.
It is.
But I think that our strength has always been in the fact that we can pull together and persevere, and that's what we're going to have to do, and communicate.
Absolutely. And Tara, we would like for you to come back, give us more policies when you have time. We would, I know that there are a lot of people who are out here trying to figure out, how they can take a little bit of money and hopefully combine it with somebody else and have some residual income. So if you want to give some tips on starting your home health care or assistant living facilities, I'm quite sure we've got enough people out here that are going to pay attention and want some of that.
Yeah, let's have a call about how to start the business.
Absolutely.
And what everybody will need. Yeah, that'll be a good call.
Absolutely. As always, Gail, thank you so much. Any last words? We've got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tara, for coming again on our second part 2. I definitely will be bringing you back as more things are changing, because once again, guys, as we said before, our seniors are important. We're all going to get older one day, so it's best that we know what to do. Make sure that they can be taken care of, just like you take care of yourself, and make sure to keep healthy. I'm here every Monday morning to make sure of that. So thank you for tuning in.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Miss Morningstar, any last words for our listening audience?
Thank you, ladies, for educating us today, Tara and Gail. And thank you, listening audience. Go out and be great this week. Have a great Monday.
Absolutely. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection. I'm your host, DJ Kitty, here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar. You guys go out, have a wonderful Monday. Enjoy your day, and don't let nothing or no one change your positive attitude. We will see you back again tomorrow, where we will talk about veterans' voices, as well as we have a treat for you guys tomorrow. We've got an awesome leader. I'm not going to give it away. You got to tune in. See you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you.
It's DJ Kitty.
And Miss Morningstar.
We are here from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, and we will be your new morning host on WKRA 92.7 The Change.
Yes, we will be broadcasting Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll also be streaming on YouTube at Our Plugs LLC.
Be sure to tune in.
Hey y'all,